I'm not quite sure how it happened, but it did. I had intended to put some things into the earlier four parts of this podcast on the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. However, things got left out. You know, of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most. I wonder what diagnosis that would be. But we're going to make up for it here. We'll be looking at dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personalities, followed up with a little bit on China's manual, its diagnoses and criteria for mental health disorders, and then we'll show you a list of the PowerPoint slideshows that are available to you. Remember, as part of our deal, I will be sending you any two PowerPoint slideshows of your choice created by former students of mine. They did a fine job. Just email me at drmac@behavioradvisor.com. Previously known as multiple personality disorder in DSM-3, it became a household term when the 1973 book Sybil was made into a movie in 1976. It was the tale of Shirley Mason, who was diagnosed as having 16 distinct personalities as a result of physical and sexual abuse from her mother. And you've got to wonder what her diagnosis would have been. The diagnosis was questioned 2 decades later in 1995 when psychiatrist Herbert Spiegel, who consulted on Mason's case, reported that he believed that the separate personalities were actually created by Mason's therapist, who may have unwittingly suggested that her various emotional states were instead distinct personalities that had names. Oh, and now you tell us. By the way, who was the actress who played Mason? Yes, indeed, Sally Fields. In the 1980s, many women were diagnosed with MPD, multiple personality disorder, often with hypnosis being used to confirm it. You're getting sleepy. When I snap my fingers, you're going to cluck like a chicken. When the next DSM came out, the name was changed to Dissociative Identity Disorder, or DID. Today, critics of the dissociative identity diagnosis still contend that the disorder is nonsense, assigned by well-meaning but ill-informed clinicians who convince troubled and suggestible individuals that they possess multiple personalities. Isn't that right, Wendy? Yes, Tom, it is. However, dissociative identity disorder has withstood the criticism. It will be included in DSM-5. So start stocking up on your personalities. I've already got 6 with 2 sets of twins representing 3 racial cultural groups. Got 1 Dr. Seuss character and an alien from the planet Gazorp. On an authentic, sincere note, dissociative disorders are among the most common sequelae, or outcome, of severe and ongoing childhood abuse and trauma, whether it be home-based or via child trafficking, prostitution, and/or child pornography. The manual used in China reflects some of the differences between East and West, some of the variations in viewpoints and diagnoses. For example, neurasthenia, which you see at the top, reflects a cultural proclivity and often seen phenomenon in which East Asians who are suffering from mental disorders or distress will report their symptoms as being medical. This is more acceptable then to that culture because it reflects difficulties with the internal organs and an imbalance of qi, that the yin and the yang are not in harmony. Another mental disorder, when I won't try to pronounce it, but you can see it in the second point, is that there's a belief that a Chinese method of meditation with the accompanying postures and exercises can actually bring on a psychosis. Coral, well, I'll let you take a look at that one and read it. Some mental disorders are thought to be due to witchcraft, so there's a superstitious aspect to some of the manual, at least according to the Western viewpoint. The diagnosis of schizophrenia is made much more often in Chinese psychiatry than in the Western Hemisphere. Some say that it is oftentimes used to diagnose those who are political dissonants. And they still have ego-dystonic homosexuality. You'll remember that from an earlier section when we were talking about how homosexuality has been removed as a mental health disorder. However, ego-dystonic homosexuality allows an individual to go and seek help for inner turmoil regarding his or her sexual orientation. On this slide, you see the 21 slideshows that are available to you. If you email me at drmac@behavioradvisor.com, you can have any two of the PowerPoint presentations that you see here. You might also want to go to the free podcasts and videos section of behavioradvisor.com. And yes, I realize behavior is spelled with a U in most of the English-speaking world. We never should have left the realm. But when you go to that part of Behavior Advisor, scroll down to DSM and you will see 2 videos regarding diagnoses in that manual. One for gender identity disorder, one for borderline personality disorder. In that section of the site, you'll also find a massive collection of other videos, PowerPoint presentations, and audio podcasts. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tom McIntyre, Dr. Mac, signing off.